Imagine for a moment that you're standing in the shadow of a giant. You look up, and it seems impossible to compete. The giant has resources, reputation, and an army of loyal followers. It's overwhelming, isn't it? But then, you remember the stories, the ones about the nobodies, the startups, the underdogs who didn't just survive the battle. They won. Facebook was once a dorm room project. Microsoft started in a garage. Airbnb was nothing but an idea among friends, laughed out of boardrooms. Each of these titans began with no more than 5 people. 5. And with that, they toppled empires, MySpace, IBM, even the Ritz-Carlton and Four Seasons in their own ways. So, what did they know that the giants didn't? How did they build teams that could not only compete, but conquer? Let's get honest for a second. You could have the most groundbreaking idea in the world, but if you go to war with the wrong team, or worse, alone, you're going to lose. Every time. These legendary companies didn't just luck out. They built their empires one person at a time, choosing each with razor-sharp intention. Not just anyone will do. You need warriors. The kind of people you can trust to fight with you, to push you, to hold the line when you're exhausted and ready to quit. But who exactly are these 5? What roles do they play? And how do you find them? Let's break down the anatomy of a world-class team. The first critical role, the analyst. This is the person who sees the whole chessboard, not just the next move. The analyst is the founder, the one who obsesses over numbers, patterns, and the hidden levers that drive the business. If you're starting out, this is you. There's no delegation here. You need to know the numbers inside out, where the money comes from, where it leaks out, and what really matters. The analyst is the truth seeker, the fortune teller, the one who can spot the tiny cracks before they become gaping chasms. Think about WeWork for a moment. They were valued at $47 billion, on paper, the next big thing. But beneath the hype, their numbers were a ticking time bomb. The leadership ignored the warning signs. Investors finally looked under the hood, and the company's value collapsed by 90%. That's what happens when you fall in love with your product, but ignore your business. The analyst never lets that happen. They track 3 things relentlessly: revenue and costs, efficiency, and scalability. They ask, are we making more than we're spending? What's broken that needs fixing? If we grow, can we handle it, or will we implode? Ever watch investors on Shark Tank? They don't care how passionate you are. They care about the numbers. If you can't answer simple questions about your business, they're out. Every time. The analyst is the person who never lets you walk into a room unprepared. They can see around corners, anticipate problems, and find the leverage points that turn weaknesses into strengths. If you don't know your business better than anyone else, you're guessing. And in this game, guesswork gets you killed. Once you've got a grip on the numbers, you're ready for your next warrior, the operator. This is your second hire, and they're the glue that holds your business together. The operator is the master of execution. Their job is to handle the chaos, the day-to-day fires that would otherwise keep you from focusing on the big picture. They make sure the engine runs while you chart the course. The operator's role shifts depending on the business. On a farm, they're tending crops while you negotiate with buyers. In a tech startup, they wrangle engineers and keep the product running while you hunt for funding. Eventually, this person becomes your COO. They're not just a doer, they're a builder of systems, a fixer of bottlenecks, a guardian of culture. Steve Jobs had Tim Cook. Walt Disney had Roy Disney. At PayPal, Peter Thiel dreamed big, while Keith Rabois built the systems that kept the company alive. Your operator needs skills, sure. But more than that, they need grit. They have to push back, ask the tough questions. Challenge your ideas, not just nod along. You want a partner, someone who can manage people and systems without constant hand-holding. Communication styles should mesh. Friction is good if it sharpens both of you. The operator is your right hand, your co-pilot, the person you trust to keep the wheels turning while you chase the horizon. Now, the third seat at your table belongs to the builder. This is the creator, the craftsman, the person who takes dreams and turns them into reality. The builder is not a generalist, they're a master. In the early days, they might be the only person who knows how to actually make your product. They're often more skilled than you, but they have no desire to run the show. They just want to build. If you're running a coffee shop, your builder is the barista who can pour an Instagram-worthy latte. On a farm, they're the one who understands soil like a second language. In a tech company, they're the engineer who translates wild ideas into working products. Steve Jobs had Jony Ive. The builder turns good enough into unforgettable. They challenge assumptions, push for excellence, and never settle. They don't care about managing people or chasing sales. Give them freedom, tools, and the space to create, and they'll make your business iconic. How do you spot a builder? Simple. They talk in details, not just concepts. They're obsessed with their craft. They want to be where they can push the limits, not where they have to sit in meetings all day. If they start talking about running the business, they're not a builder. They're an operator or an analyst in disguise. Builders want to make, not manage. You've got your operator. You've got your builder. But who's going to make the world care about what you've made? Enter the seller. At the very start, you're the one selling, because you know the product best. But as soon as you can, you need to bring in someone who lives and breathes sales and marketing. The seller is the rainmaker, the deal closer, the person who turns curiosity into cash. Great seller isn't just persuasive. They're psychological strategists. They understand people. They know how to price, how to pitch, how to turn a hard no into a maybe, and a maybe into a yes. Safra Catz transformed Oracle by locking in massive deals, acquiring companies and selling a vision, sometimes to skeptical governments and tech giants alike. Sellers don't just sell a product. They sell certainty. A seller shapes the environment long before the final negotiation. They set the stage, manage the tension, and handle rejection with a smile. They're relentless in pursuit of opportunities, but they never cheapen your brand. They know your customers almost better than you do. With a seller on board, your startup isn't just a product. It's a machine humming with the energy of real demand. Now, with an operator, a builder, and a seller, you have the foundation of something extraordinary. But there's one more piece to make your company unforgettable: the storyteller. If you want your business to be more than just a transaction, if you want it to become a movement, you need a storyteller. Someone who can make your brand bigger than the sum of its parts. The storyteller doesn't just write copy or run ads. They shape the way the world sees your business. Red Bull is about adventure, not weird college drinks. Nike is about victory, not just sneakers. Lego is about creativity, not just plastic bricks. The storyteller creates an emotional connection, something people remember, something they want to be part of. Great storyteller spots where culture is heading and gets there first. Take Bosoma St. John. She made Apple Music about culture, not just streaming. She rebuilt Uber's image when it was under fire, refocusing the brand on human connection and movement. The storyteller is your cultural antenna and amplifier. They make your company cool and unforgettable. The big hire isn't a generalist. They're an expert in the one thing that's holding your company back. Maybe it's operations. Maybe it's finance. Maybe it's product or systems. When growth turns to chaos, when progress stalls and systems break, the big hire is the one who fixes what no one else can. But bring them in too early, and they'll be wasted. Too late, and you'll be stuck. Think of Angela Ahrendts. When Burberry needed to reinvent itself, she led an aggressive digital transformation without losing the brand's luxury soul. When Apple stores were struggling, she turned them into cultural hubs, not just places to buy gadgets. Or Sundar Pichai, who took Google Chrome and Android from ideas to global platforms. The big hire is your glass ceiling breaker, the one who knows exactly how to solve your hardest problem. You don't need 100 people to beat a giant. You need 5, plus 1, when the time is right. The analyst who sees the truth. The operator who keeps the engine running. The builder who creates excellence. The seller who brings in lifeblood revenue. the storyteller who gives it all meaning. And when the moment calls for it, the big hire who smashes the ceiling. This isn't theory. This is how David beat Goliath. He was the analyst, reading the situation. The operator, executing without hesitation. The builder, choosing the perfect stones. The seller, persuading others to believe. And now, thousands of years later, we're still telling his story. The odds don't matter. The giants don't matter. When you build the right team, you set yourself up to do the impossible. So, who are your 5?